Call the October 15th, 2013 Finance Committee meeting to order. Chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of claims.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the consideration of bills to be paid in the amount of is that right?
No, 9.
Yeah, that's right. In the amount of $470,790.62, manual checks in the amount of $31,123.12, Elon credit card in the amount of $6,613.16, checks written for payroll liabilities for October 4th, 2013 in the amount of $417,235.02 for a total of $925,761.92.
And I'll second.
All right, any questions on the bills this time?
Just one for me, Mr. Chair, page 8 of 16, last one at the bottom, 17656. Just curious as to what that was for. It says promotional items for kids.
Your Honor, that's for the police department. They're ordering items for bike rodeos and school resource offers, victim witness, those type of things.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Do you have any questions?
Seems like I did, but I'm trying to remember what it was. Sorry. I think it was on the credit card statement, actually. There was a charge in that credit card to CarQuest. I guess I'm just curious as to why that's going that way rather than through the... I'm sure the city has an account or something with them. I believe it was police department, page 4 of 5 in the Elon credit card statement, right at toward the top.
She emailed that.
That was the only one I found kind of curious. Wasn't sure why that went through on the credit card.
Okay, Your Honor, we're trying to maneuver,
Madly
trying to find our, it came as a separate email here, and I can't even get out of this.
It's for $14.46.
Yeah.
Third one down on page 4 of 5.
I don't. You sent that separately, right, Kristen?
It's on page 4.
Yeah, 4 of 5.
Okay.
Transaction date of 9/11, or 9/10, posted on 9/11.
You know what that is?
I believe, Your Honor, I believe that's a windshield fluid. Captain Smith went over and purchased that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I guess I don't necessarily have a problem with the expenditure. I just wonder why it goes on the credit card.
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm not sure we actually have one with CarQuest. We probably do most of ours through Napa.
There was one paid through CarQuest.
Is there another one?
Earlier in the bills, but anyway, it just seems like a potential spot for problematic spending if it doesn't go through the right channels. It's pretty easy to buy something for your own vehicle and run it that way if you're not keeping it through the correct channels, in my opinion. I'm not saying that happened. I don't suspect that from anyone. I just personally don't like to see that happening.
Well, and Council Fabian, I know that the city administrator discourages that. He sent out a memo probably 4 or 5 months ago saying the credit card is to be used for travel and training only and emergency purchases, and we're finding that it's being used a little bit more often than that. We did have a credit card shut down about a week ago. We had, maybe 2 weeks ago, we had someone traveling to Canada. At the very same time, the card was used in Iowa. And so they declined the purchase in Iowa for $169 and paid the one from Canada because there were more purchases, which Paul Griffin went to Canada for training. So they are watching that, but we try to watch it on a regular basis as well.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, and I had no further questions, so all those in favor of the consideration of bills say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the quarterly financial report, and you should have a copy of that.
I'm going to have Mrs. Bolander explain that to us more.
I said, can I, really, can I? So this is our quarterly executive summary, and what we try to do is give you a quarterly executive summary, which is the total of the funds, which means capital projects as well as operational. We usually give you the operational with the total, and I decided that we're going to start separating those a little bit so you can analyze them a little bit more. Councilman Baker brought up a good point last time we presented this report to you, is that I don't have anything to compare it to. They're just numbers to me. And so what we did, we didn't do it on every fund because of the enterprise funds. You know, that is so capital project related. So for instance, if you see the water fund to the good by 1.3 million, you know that's probably a drawdown that we had brought in, and so the expense was earlier, and now we got the revenue in, and it looks pretty good. So, and that's what's happened. Our expense was in last fiscal year before the end of June, and we got the revenue in after the 30th of June for the water fund. The other ones are pretty consistent. You'll see that the airport's the airport. So, but a couple things I'd like to point out on the general fund. The first page that you have, the front page is July through September for 2013 quarterly. And as you can see, it looks like we're $272,000 to the good. If you flip and you see the next one is July to September of 2012, and we're $180,000 to the good. So Gloria and I spent a little bit of time today to try to understand why there was a difference in numbers, and guess what? A lot of that is supplemental funding. Our supplemental funding was $293,000, brought our revenue way up, but also our expenses came up. But what we looked at is that there was a difference with the admin allocations. And I told Gloria, I said, well, that doesn't sound right, because when our expenses are up, our admin allocations should be up. In other words, what the enterprise funds pay back to the general fund is based on the expenses out of the general fund. Well, we look at that, we take a very hard look at that, because the auditors scrutinize what we do with admin allocations, because they don't want you to balance the budget by using that process. So just for your comfort level, to let you know, we did change the percentages. We review that quite heavily through the budget process and go on a percentage basis. So for instance, administrative services, city administrator, city council, there's all percentages that the funds pay back the general fund for. And a lot of it is based on fleet maintenance. We can go by the number of vehicles per fund. We can go by the claims paid for administrative services. So for instance, the water fund's percentage went up a little bit because, you know, we're really heavy into a project with the water fund, with the water supply project and the booster station. So anyway, we do look at this, and want you to know that we pay attention to the figures all the time and all the numbers. And next time I'll be presenting the operational. The operational, of course, is the one that we really scrutinize, because if we're not living within our means and our revenues aren't coming in, but we're still spending at the same level or more, then that's the time that we need to bring your attention to that, and then also prepare for a budget amendment if we need to do that in January. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have.
Your Honor?
Questions?
None for me, Mr. Chair.
So, just for my understanding, so essentially as general expenses go up in a fund, then you essentially draw more administrative services? Is that what I'm understanding? Or I guess I didn't quite get that.
What I'm referring to is the admin allocations.
Yeah. That.
Yeah. So usually when we see the expenditures at 1.6 and we see $250,000 in admin allocations, which is what they paid back, if I see that go up to $2 million, I should see the admin allocations go up.
Okay.
But I didn't this time because it was a difference in fiscal years.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so last time it was 298,000. This time it was 250,000, I believe. Yeah. And so that's what it was, and we went back and looked at the admin allocation spreadsheet.
Okay.
And I apologize for you getting this at this time. We have found that when we send this to you and we scan and email it, you get it in black and white, and I just don't think it has a visual effect that it does in color. And plus, you can share it with the public if you need to, and it might be a little bit easier to read.
Thank you.
Questions? All right, any other business for us tonight, Mr. Weaver?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
October 15, 2013, regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Would Councilmember Guard lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the city clerk please conduct the roll call?
Mr. Honor, I'd be happy to. Councilman John Lars Baker.
Here.
Councilman Eric Heiser.
Here.
Councilman Rich Guard.
Here.
Councilman Jonathan Fabian.
Here.
Councilman Todd Smith.
Here.
Mayor Ron Warpness.
I'm present. Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Mary Ellen Christensen from tonight's meeting.
I'd move to excuse Councilmember Christensen.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I declare that we have a quorum this evening. The approval of the agenda. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda with the addition of a Mayor's Proclamation Manufacturing Day, November 1st, 2013, after agenda item number 8, and the addition of a DEQ update regarding 422 East Main property after agenda item number 11.
I would move to approve the agenda with those changes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend the agenda as noted. Is there a discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we have communication from the floor, citizens' comments. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that is already on the agenda will be given an opportunity to speak later on. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council at this time to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Davis.
Honor. Jim Davis with the Chamber of Commerce. Room's real familiar to me. Just wanted to bring to your attention our new chamber brochure for the community. It's very, very similar to the old brochure. We changed the color, changed a few of the graphics inside, a few of the pictures, some of the information that's in it, but I wanted to bring you up to date that this is part of the contract that we with the city to produce this, and we also leverage lodging tax money to help and pay for it too. So about a 50-50 split between the chamber or the city and the lodging tax board to pay for this. It runs about, we did 10,000 of these again, runs about $4,000 to print that many. Since I've been at the chamber, which believe it or not will be 6 years in March, we've handed out 20,000 of these. And so we're on our 30,000 bunch right now. So I thought it turned out really well. We changed the color. I think it's real eye-catching. We send these out in every packet that we send out, mail out. We also put this in all of our packets that we put together for visitors that come to the community for conventions. It's very well used. One of the very first things we got the order in last Monday is we put a bunch together and sent them to Pine Bluffs because they were out of a Riverton brochure. So they're talking, you know, they're out there in the state, and we've got them geared to when they run out to call and ask for more. So it's very well accepted.
Looks like a beautiful brochure, Jim.
That turned out really well, I thought.
Did a very nice job.
Just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? Going? Okay. the consent agenda, would the city clerk please conduct the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, October 1st, 2013 regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, October 8th, 2013 council work session. Approval of the minutes, October 15th, 2013 finance committee meeting. Approval of finance committee recommendations for October 15th, 2013. Approval of the municipal court report for the month of September 2013. Approval of delinquent fines of deceased defendants for October of 2013. Ordinance number 13-010, second reading in accordance with state statutes. I'll read that title by title only now. An ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 9.12, Section 9.12190A of the Riverton Municipal Code, providing additional language to reflect the property owner's responsibility of weeds and alleys, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date. We also received a business license application from Wind River Tree Care Incorporated for a tree trimming license, a business application from Fremont Tree and Lawn Works, formerly Alpine Tree Care, for a tree trimming license, and we received the following catering permit applications. Back bar for November 9th, 2013 for the Gold Buckle Ball at the Armory from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. From the Lapeer from November 2nd, 2013 for a Pheasants Forever banquet at Fremont Center, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. Lapeer, December 13, 2013, CWC Christmas Party at St. Margaret's Gym from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Lapeer, December 21st, 2013, Riverton Lander Hospital's Christmas Party at Fremont Center, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. And then we also received an open container permit application from Reach Foundation for December 5th, 2013 for a Christmas party at St. Margaret's Gym from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
it's the recommendation of the Finance Committee for the approval of claims to be paid in the amount of $470,790.62. Elan credit card in the amount of $6,613.16. Manual checks in the amount of $31,123.12. Checks written for payroll liabilities for October 4th, 2013 in the amount of $417,235.02 for a total of $925,761.92. And we also, in our Finance Committee meeting this time, had a quarterly executive summary from July 1st through September 30th that Courtney's going to share on.
Would you like me to do that now, Your
If you
Honor?
would, please.
I'll make this brief since we have an audience tonight, but this is a report that I gave to the Finance Committee meeting at 6:30 p.m. As you know, this is a total fund report for the quarter, so it includes capital projects as well as our operational expenses. We like to do this on a quarterly basis so you know where we're standing. We're being very transparent with the public. If we start running into trouble, at least you're going to know about it. Not too long ago, when we gave this to you, Councilman Baker said, one of his comments was, I don't know what to compare this to. All I see are numbers. So you'll see with the general fund, we did a comparative analysis to let you know where we stood this time last year and where we stand this time right now. We didn't do that with all the funds because they're so dependent on capital projects. So if you see the water fund sitting at a $1.3 million to the good, that's because of the drawdowns. We spent the money in June of 2013. We received the drawdown payment after the fiscal year. So that's why it looks so good. It doesn't look that good now. So the general fund, you can see there's a difference about $100,000 from last year. We did a little bit of analysis like, what is that attributed to? As you remember, supplemental funding was, we received about, 800 and some thousand this year. I think 895,000. Last year was 601,000, so that boosted our revenues. But then again, we spent more money because we got more supplemental funding. So our expenditures came up in 2013. But also what that's attributed to is not only in addition to maybe a new position we've added or new equipment we've bought or something like that, it's also because of the admin allocations. And if you remember, to get to the admin allocation process, in other words, when the enterprise funds pay back the general fund, because all the money we spend comes out of the general fund, we have to do a review for the auditors because they don't want us balancing our budget. by admin allocations. In fact, they're watching tonight, so that's why I'm talking about this. They're in town, by the way, so if anyone's interested in visiting with the auditors, they're in-house until probably Thursday afternoon, so feel free to stop by. But they want to make sure that we're not balancing the budget by transferring money from the enterprise funds to supplement the general fund. So we have to have a good review, hard figures of how we come up with those percentages. So if I say that 54% of the administrative services budget per year is supported by the general fund and the rest is divided among the other funds, then they need to know why and how we arrive at that percentage. So you'll see where the admin allocations from one year changed from 298,000 to 250,000. That's because we changed the percentages and what those enterprise funds were paying the general fund. So for instance, when you have a project like the water supply project with the booster station project, the water fund's going to be contributing a lot more to the general fund because we're spending a lot more in services for that project. So that's just a short and sweet report on that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Bollinger?
Thank you.
Thank you. I see our airport fund is still
It's always going to be that way.
on the north side of where we want to be to about, what, 189,000? Okay, we'll keep working on it, I guess.
Your Honor, I forgot to mention one thing. I will be bringing forth the operational summary next time. You know, you have gotten those together, and I decided that we need to separate those because we as a fiduciary responsibility need to make sure that we are spending and living within our means. And the only way we know we're doing that is by looking at our operations. If the revenue we think that we're getting in and we're spending it faster than we're getting it in, then we need to stop and review that, analyze it, and maybe change some things. So I'll be bringing that forward next month.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. Okay, agenda item number 8, Mayor's proclamation. I'm sorry.
Point of order, I think we need a motion to approve the consent, and I will make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Councilman Heiser. Been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Okay, and then the Mayor's Proclamation, Extra Mile Day, November 1st, 2013. We have 2 Mayor's Proclamations this evening, and I've asked Councilman Fabian to read one of them, so you don't have to endure my reading both of them. And I appreciate his help. I'll go ahead and read the first one, and then he can read the second one as though I were reading it. This is the City of Riverton recognizes and celebrates November 1st, 2013 as Extra Mile Day. Whereas Riverton, Wyoming is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Riverton, Wyoming is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas Riverton, Wyoming is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas Riverton, Wyoming acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America Foundation to create 300 extra mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2013. Now, therefore, I, Ronald O. Warpness, Mayor of Riverton, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2013 to be Extra Mile Day. I urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those around who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. In witness whereof I have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Riverton to be affixed this 15th day of 2013. Signed, Ronald O. Warpness, Mayor.
And the second proclamation is the Riverton, Wyoming Manufacturing Day. Whereas recognizing November 1st, 2013 as Riverton, Wyoming Manufacturing Day is an effective way to highlight the importance of manufacturing in our area's economy and to draw attention to the many rewarding, high-skilled manufacturing jobs, as well as to support and celebrate the city's manufacturers. And whereas the United States is the world's largest manufacturing economy, employing over 12 million men and women, for every $1 of goods produced, manufacturing generates an additional $1.43 for the economy. In addition, each manufacturing job helps to create additional jobs in other sectors in our community. And whereas the effort is co-produced nationwide by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies Holdings Manufacturing Extension Partnership, MEP, represented by Manufacturing Works in Wyoming, the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association International, FMA, the National Association of Manufacturers, NAM, the Manufacturing Institute, MI, and whereas manufacturing is a cornerstone of the economy in Riverton, Wyoming, and the United States of America, and whereas manufacturing provides jobs for approximately 100 Riverton residents with over 10 manufacturing facilities in Fremont County, making products as diverse as baked goods, compasses, computer printers, plastic injection molded parts, native handcrafts, jewelry, and many other special and unique items, and whereas the Riverton City Council commends and supports these important businesses, now therefore be it resolved that Ronald O. Warpness, Mayor of Riverton, Wyoming, does hereby proclaim November 1st, 2013 as Riverton, Wyoming Manufacturing Day.
Thank you, Councilman Fabian. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure you appreciate it as well, hearing someone else read these things. Did you want to say anything, Phil, on behalf of that proclamation, in as much as you brought it forward and give you a moment here?
My name is Phil Christopherson. I'm the Manufacturing Works Field Engineer for Fremont County. Manufacturing Works works with the local manufacturers, helping them become more efficient products, expand the job base. Yes, I wear two hats. I'm also the Economic Development Director with Idea Inc. So I fulfill both. Manufacturing is an important aspect of our community. Primary job brings outside money into the community. It's money from outside of the Fremont County, outside of Wyoming, outside of the country. One of our local manufacturers, Legacy Injection Molding, has customers around the world. Bring money in from all over the world into Riverton. It's primary jobs like this that make our economy grow. And so thank you for passing this. Lunch on November 1st at Legacy Injection Molding. Council members, you're all invited to attend. Go from 12 to 1. It'll be an informal affair. Just all the local manufacturers, a couple of politicians are invited.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. We appreciate the commentary. Okay, agenda item number 9, public hearing and consideration of transfer of retail liquor license from TriStar Investments to MJQ1 LLC, doing business as Time Out Bar. City Clerk's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The City Clerk's Office received an application formerly held by TriStar Investments. The application was submitted by MJQ1 LLC, doing business as Time Out Bar. Pursuant to state statutes in the Riverton Municipal Code, any changes in the ownership of retail liquor license needs to be approved by the governing body. Everything was complete with the application and certified by the Liquor Commission. We recommend that the transfer of ownership be approved by minute action, and I believe the applicant is here to answer any questions you may have, and the fee has been paid.
Okay, thank you. The chair would entertain a motion for the public hearing.
Your Honor, I move to open public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor of moving into a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, I now declare the public hearing is open. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council regarding this issue?
Seeing none, Your Honor, I'd move to close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Chair would now entertain a motion for the consideration of liquor license transfer.
Your Honor, I would move to approve the transfer of ownership of a retail liquor license from for MJQ1 LLC at this time.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Ordinance number 13-009, third and final reading, source gas agreement. Would the city clerk please read ordinance number 13-009 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. This is proposed ordinance number 13-009, third and final reading, source gas agreement. An ordinance granting to Source Gas Distribution LLC its successors and assigns the right, permission, and authority to construct, maintain, and operate a gas transmission and distribution system, including mains, pipes, conduits, services, and other structures in, under, upon, over, across, and along the streets. It sounds like a song. Alleys, bridges, and public, just kidding. Places within the present and future corporate limits of the city of Riverton, Wyoming, for the furnishing, transmission, distribution, and sale of gas, whether artificial, natural, mixed, or otherwise for lighting, heating, domestic, industrial, or other uses in said city and elsewhere, limiting the term of said grant, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said company may operate, and repealing ordinances number 98-008 and 05-001.
Chair would entertain a motion regarding ordinance number 13-009.
Your Honor, I'd make the motion to approve 13-009.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Would the clerk please conduct a roll call vote?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilman John Lars Baker.
Yes.
Councilman Eric Heiser.
Yes.
Councilman Rich Gard.
Yes.
Councilman Jonathan Fabian.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Ron Warpness.
Mayor votes yes. Okay. The motion passed. Agenda item number 11, Central Wyoming Skateboard Association presentation.
I'm Chris McNeil, president of Central Wyoming Skateboarding Association. I'll refer to that long phrase for now on CWSA.
Yeah, hi, I'm Matt Wright. I'm co-chair of the CWSA, and we are appreciative of your time tonight. We're glad that we can spend some time here and present some of our future plans, a design which you may have seen over here, but we'll get to that here shortly.
And I thought I'd bring Matt up here with me. Hopefully don't talk over each other too much, and we'll do this together. Maybe save a little time. If you remember right, December 11th, 2012 was one of our first formal presentations to you, introducing the association, the new association, as to who we are and what we're wanting to do. And with your blessing at that time, we came from that meeting and went straight into creating a preliminary design. We can't raise funds unless we have a preliminary design. That's the key word here, is preliminary. This is what you need to do before in the industry of building a skate park, whether it's through a recreation department or through an association, is to have this preliminary design. So we fell into a contract, or signed a contract with American Ramp Company out of Joplin, Missouri. We felt that they were a good company to deal with. They had different aspects to different types of design. And if you remember right from that meeting with December 11th, we presented different types of parts. You precast, pour in place concrete, above ground stuff.
But professionally.
So it's taken a little bit of time to get this done, a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I guess perfection takes a while.
Lars,
So,
can you see that?
we do have this up on the projector also. But with that, I sent you 4 documents plus a supplementary document. I sent you 2 documents of the preliminary design. This cost us $5,000 to do with the contract through the association. Other companies charge around $7,000. And with the American Ramp Company, they were able to split that up. $2,500 before and then $2,500 after it's done. So that really helped us out getting started. So that's one reason why we started with the American Ramp Company. I sent you 4 documents. 2 of them is, one shows the description of precast concrete, which is built there in Missouri. The whole park is built there in Missouri and shipped to us where we could build the park wherever we wanted to through some volunteer help and some of their supervision in that. The other one, which I labeled on the top, developed by the kids for the kids, is the pour in place concrete. This is this one. This is the one we chose. We looked at the precast because of the difference in strength of concrete. Precast is 8,000 psi in strength, and of course regular concrete is around 4,000 psi. However, throughout our education and learning a lot about the skate parks, we found out that the pour in place will be a whole lot better than the other precast, because the precast has so many seams in it. Everything comes in blocks. So many different seams. And some of the skate parks, if they're not put together with this precast material, with the weather, the cold and the heat, and the cold and the heat and the expansion, they seem to lift up and out. You don't have the,
Well, just St. Casper's actually, they built remember how much their park was? 300,000 or 500,000, and it has shifted. It was a precast park, and it's unfortunate. There's, in foreign place, concrete parks. Some of these were built 50 years ago when the skateboarding boom happened in California. These parks were built, and they're still up to date with the grade 50 years. So we're looking at something that'll last in this city for a long time.
so that's what I sent you. I also sent you a supplement document of some engineered plans that Lander did for their skate park. I sent that to you just because of the picture on the front. Also because we're trying to stay away from engineered designs. If Lander would have had it done over again, they said that they wouldn't do engineered designs. It costs like $15,000-$20,000.
I'll add there that including also the company that they had building also said that they wasted their money basically on engineering plans.
You're on television, so it won't go anywhere.
It's so specialized that if you get a good builder to build the park, you really don't need engineered designs, where all you need is a preliminary design. I struggle with it a little bit because sometimes engineered designs don't give you room for any question. They have to do it. It's something later to think about. Also give it to you so that you can look at the picture that was on Lander Skate Park, and it just, when I first saw it, it just kind of seemed like I couldn't get the scope of what it was, the size of it. That's it? We've seen a lot of pictures of skate parks, and when we looked at that, we just, wow, that looks pretty small. But if you've seen Landers Park, pretty nice. So the scope of what you see versus what's really there can kind of get you off your vision. Hopefully, through the American Ramp Company, we've come up with some pretty good pictures to really give you the scope of the size of this. Matt's going to be talking about this. I'm going to ask Matt. He knows all the lingo and all the slang when it comes to skating. I'll let you take over, Matt.
Okay.
I'll bring it up here too.
Lars, you want to come sit with us?
Battery, looks like there's a battery out.
They're right here. You can get it.
All right, cool. Okay, so one thing is as far as size, you know, these trees are actually not to scale. This is bigger than you think. From one side to the other, we are looking at 160 feet or 166 feet. Well, so it's over the length of half of a football field, if you think about it. So, and then, you know, if you look at some of these other pictures, you'll see tennis courts and things like that. That's all just, you know, we told them we wanted this park to be in a family-friendly environment with other amenities around, where the kids can be in the public's eye. And so we thought putting it next to other things, which, you know, we're being activists for other amenities in town, which is why we're really pleased with your decisions lately on organizing this committee for Parks and Recreation. And you know, splash pad, dog park, those kind of things I think would be really great for being around the skate park, like Landers, sandwiched in between a baseball field, the middle school. You've got the playground right next to it. And you know, there's constantly there. I've been there so many times. There's usually around 25 to 30 kids there on any given night. You see families, moms with little kids with scooters, and everyone's just having a good time. And so we need to try to visualize this as something that is going to increase the population. Right now, when you think of skateboarding, you think of the old public pool area. It doesn't have to be like that. But again, we're grateful for that. We've had a lot of fun, and a lot of the kids who are here are friends because of that. And you know, I would even say it kept me here in Riverton for quite a while. So, all right. So back to the actual design here. Getting distracted, but so the size is there. This park is we're looking at this park can be built. It's designed to be built on grass anywhere. If you notice, those are bermed. There's bermed up dirt work around the bowl, and those are 6-foot walls. So if you were to just slap it on concrete, you're going to have a concrete wall to deal with. You know, that's unsightly and dangerous. And you have something to add, Chris? And so we're looking at building it on grass. It's also beautiful. There's, you know, you also see some things like the Riverton sign and that sidewalk. That is also just things that the skate park company just threw in there.
Here's a pointer if it would help.
Oh, that'd be great. So, yeah, like you see the car driving by, that car should actually be quite a bit smaller if it was to scale. So, yeah, okay, I'll try to do it up here. Is there anything I'm...
We wanted a park that we could build basically anywhere if we, you know, decided to build it somewhere else. it wasn't in City Park, or even over, there's been discussion about JC Park. But we wanted it to where it could be moved, where we could, within City Park, the dirt work could be done, and there wasn't too much in the way there. Some of these parks, you have to have some hillsides and a lot of dirt work. So with this park was built, similar park of this was built in Georgia, Glenn County, Georgia. And we took that park and the kids made it their own. They revamped it, changed the bowls. But basically this park has been done before by American Ramp Company. So we with our discussions.
I'll add, it's an incredibly successful park.
Yeah.
People travel from all over.
It's on magazines, posters, the flow of this park. With 10,000 square feet, it's a little over 10,000 square feet. With the amenities that's in this park, your map may show you, if you're just in the street section in the middle with the box. The street section right here in the middle with the box and a little pyramid area with the wall, you'd be amazed how many tricks kids will be doing right in this area, just right here. Coming from a starting area with the quarter pipe coming down, doing tricks back and forth, going into an open bowl. The flow within this park is what we were looking for, the kids were looking for.
I'll add, the open bowl feature is very safe too. If there were to be an accident, you have a way for an ambulance or EMTs to get right into the bowl and help with that. And about safety, I'd want to add, we live in a town where recreation is in the forms of horseback riding, which keeps most of the physical therapy places in business. And rodeo, four-wheeling, ATV, and skateboarding. If you do the math and look at the statistics, the head injuries and deaths are far below, even though it is so widely done. It's the third most popular sport. So I've been skating 13 years and had very minor injuries.
Anyways, the bowl right here, going back to the bowl being open, and it's not as deep as a lot of bowls that are built. Some of them are pretty deep. This one's more it's more shallow. It's 6 feet from 0 to 6 feet here. We did the bowl a little less in depth because we wanted more of a beginning, more of novice aspect to it, to where even the beginners could skate it without any trouble, and also experts like Matt could really skate it well.
Let me add, also in Jackson Hole, we just had a club event where we took people to Jackson. They had what's called the Wild West skateboarding competition, and 3 of the main competitors who were competing with kids were in their 40s, and their bowls were 12 feet high. 12 feet. Yeah, so double these.
That's just like Little League Baseball.
What's that?
That's just like Little League Baseball.
So little kids couldn't really do a lot on the 12-foot bowls. So this is very accommodating, but still yet very fun for advanced riders who can learn tricks that they couldn't do on 12-foot bowls. So anyway.
I'd just like to comment that I really like the open bowl concept. That was the only thing about the one in Lander that when I was over at the grand opening, I was wondering, okay, if you have someone down in the bottom of it, how do you get them out? And so I really like that.
Well, thank you.
Side.
With competitions, it's going to work a lot better because of the flow between street and into the bowl. There's different skating aspects to that, from what I understand. Different. You can judge different aspects of skating, biking, for that matter, when you're doing competition. We looked at that also. We also looked at putting in this pyramid right here there's an added feature, this big pyramid right before this bowl. This is usually open right here, but this pyramid is basically made for the bike. Focus for bikers also. And of course we got this street section here in the middle that's going to get a lot of use, a lot of tricks. I mean, just
There's also flat areas. If you notice the big, hold on. There's so much flat here, which is excellent because if you notice Lander, it doesn't have any area to do flat land tricks. Bikes can do flat land tricks, skateboards do flat land tricks, and they play what's called skate, which is like horse. You get a letter every time you miss the trick if the other person lands it, and you can do that all the time on that little flat area, and Lander doesn't have that. So those kids are excited to come out here, and it's so much smoother than a parking lot. So the kids aren't going to be at Walmart parking lot making everybody mad.
and some more rails, some stairs, of course. As we climb up there to the what we call a half pipe, mini pipe. If you look at some videos of the park that was done in Georgia, a lot of lessons, a lot of older kids teaching really small kids how to learn to skate right here. This isn't very high, it's like 3 feet. And of course, where I'm at here, we're gonna increase this one over on this side to 6 feet instead of 3 feet.
More speed, yeah.
For more experienced. And over here will be, you can do a lot of lessons right in that area.
Is there a different texture on the bottom of that bowl?
It's just
No,
colored concrete.
The colored concrete is really good for depth perception. So if you're going at a high speed, you want to know where the edge of the stairs is, so that contrast can really help. It's a safer feature.
Well, the park in Georgia has this bottom area at 0 flat work right here, which is colored also. Their color is usually red.
We can make it any color.
Make it any color.
Brown and gold.
So here it is, the preliminary design. There are already some few changes that we'll make, but this is it. It's also built to where we could widen it a little bit too if we needed to. With the budget and that, I like to put in a budget always some kind of contingency funds for stuff like that. This was just added on a couple days ago. We just got these pictures yesterday. So we just rendered this stuff yesterday. We've had several different styles of these pictures, but right here we have benches, and they ended up at the American Ramp Company or Hardcore Design Company, which is affiliated with American Ramp Company, ended up putting our city sign up there. But with our business packs that we get businesses with sponsors, you know, if they become a platinum or a gold sponsor, when this is built, we're going to put granite bricks with their logo on it. This might be an area where we could put those bricks, even in the sidewalk. So this was just a dress-up addition, but we could widen this out a little bit, the park, if we had a little bit more funding. Depends on how the snowball goes. So,
Any questions?
on the park, on the preliminary design, any questions? I would like to introduce, I like to get the kids to stand up and at least speak a little bit. I'd like to introduce a gentleman that's been with us from the very beginning, from my living room. Started in my living room, 4 of us.
Yeah, we were at the skate park. We thought, why don't we make some improvements to this place?
But Josh Ballard's been with us from the very beginning. He's a BMXer, one of the best. He won the competition there in Lander.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd like to say something, like to make an announcement.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. We've been applying for grants, sending out applications for quite a while now, and we just got a grant from Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk gave us $5,000 towards construction fees, and it expires in 2 years, but it's really nice because that's gonna, you know, that gives us first step to apply for more grants, and it's gonna help us a lot, you know, and it feels good to know that like Tony Hawk's backing what we're doing here. And yeah, Nice. $5,000, yeah.
Josh is a good kid. He better be. All right. Yeah, Tony Hawk Foundation is one of the first grants you should get in this industry.
It's a hard one to get.
It's a hard one to get. But we are at a crossroads. I did give you our a funding statement, our fundraising funding statement. Down here. As you can see, we have lots of sponsors starting to give us some money from the community. We are into the grant writing focus right now. The kids have been working really hard this summer. We've had quite a few fundraisers this summer. There's some fun ones too. The kids really enjoyed themselves. They've done a great job. I can't thank them enough for what they've done. They always come to meetings. We always have like a full crowd at the meetings. They love the meetings, the club meetings and that. So just with the community outreach, I have an old one here. I think I updated yours. It's $9,665, I think it is, on yours. That's through our community outreach with our fundraiser, doing our stuff there. We had one fundraiser that failed miserably. We lost a little bit of money. I hate that, but hopefully we'll gain that back. But we've been successful this summer with raising funds. We've had quite a few sponsors, gold sponsors, silver sponsors, and platinum sponsors. With our crossroads where we're at, funds received is about 28,000. If we add pledges to that, we're looking at about just under $50,000 if we add the pledges when they come in. Aaron's, is committed. We should have got that check already, but there's a few verbal pledges and some other pledges that we've had. So it would be safe to say that we're getting pretty close to $50,000 with pledges. So we're starting to get up there. We're starting to climb. It's always changing. We're going to get into the grant writing really heavy, and I guess our question is that, or we ask you, can the city be committed to give some funding? We are that 501c3 through the Riverton Depot Foundation. All those funds go right into that account. Even if we don't, I don't want to say this, but I'm optimistic that it'll get done. But if it doesn't happen, all those funds go back to whoever gave them.
And like Josh pointed out, we have 2 years to build the park, starting now since we've accepted the Tony Hawk grant. So the ball is rolling, and it can hit the pins, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it would be sad to have to give the Tony Hawk grant back, because you're going to apply for that once. And along with that, not to get on a negative tone, but I probably could have got more funding out of the Tony Hawk grant if I was able to put the mayor and a few councilmen onto the grant itself. I would like to write some municipality grants. I would like to write a land and waters grant through the state. It's a 50-50 grant. I could probably get up towards to $75,000. I would like to maybe see what YDOT has. I would like on a highway grant. I know Courtney was mentioning something about there's a grant available if you build something next to the major highway. Like in the park, you might be able to qualify for a grant. If we continue just writing grants that are offered for 501c3s, it's just going to be 500 here, 1,000 here, and if you're lucky, someone will come up and give you a big chunk. And with some of these grants, you only have a year, and then with an extension, you have 2. Some of them have 2 years. With an extension, you have 3. But some of these grants, we're familiar with grants, they like you to spend it as quick as you can. when you do receive grants. So yeah, it's hopefully it'll start snowballing, but I'd like to write those municipality grants if I could. Have your sign off on them. Send them in to you. You look at them, correct it, whatever, and then get the mayor right on top. Mayor, you said one time that we could do better. And Lander. Maybe we can turn it into a competition.
Yep, this is a beautiful facility that you've described here this evening, and I'm really delighted to see that you're going with the pour in place. Always had trepidations about hauling something here from Missouri or wherever and then trying to plug it together and then having tree roots and whatnot lift sections of it, and I didn't like that part of it at all.
Well, it's all about that education, educating ourselves and seeing
But I
what's
think
out
you've put together a wonderful plan here. I've got a small donation I'd like to make to you right now, so you can put the mayor down. And
but with other grants, I would sure like to put the
city
city on them.
I'm certainly very supportive of what it is you're doing.
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. So I'm not wildly enthusiastic of grants. I like the work that you men have been doing and gals to generate your own monies and have the fundraisers and have it be a community type of thing. I think is a better way to go. But I recognize that grants are out there, and if we can take advantage of them, we certainly want to do that. But I see this as a public facility that all of our children can benefit from, and I was just blown away at the number of kids that were over at the Lander grand opening.
Wasn't that something?
And some of the things they were doing was just unbelievable.
I think that helped us out a lot for you to see that.
Yep. Yeah, it really did. It was.
I really do.
Yep. But I do think that this would be an expansion or a superior skate park, and that's the way it should be. So anyway, I don't know if anyone else would like to comment, but
Your Honor,
yes.
I would just like to point out that we do have 40,000 dedicated through our capital for park improvements.
Okay.
And we could sponsor any of these grants. Some of them have to go through the city, and we've done that with other organizations, and I don't see why we couldn't do that with the Skate Park Association.
Also, Your Honor, I would encourage you, now that you have your plans, to make sure that you're in on the January presentations for the District 25 Rec Board. You've got a lot of support there. We were just talking about that at our last meeting, and now that things are conceptualized better than they were last year, I think you'll certainly have a chance to get a good shot of money there too. So make sure you don't forget about that.
That's where we're heading. That's why we're here. Isn't this cool?
Impressive.
The kids did this. We had a committee within our club. The kids got together, like 6 meetings, and designed this park off of another one, of course, but it's really totally different from the other one. And I think it's awesome. You're going to be amazed if this thing gets built. Well, it will get built. Say that. It's just the use, competitions that we can hold. What's the guy's name in Jackson Hole that does all that?
His name's Jeff Moran, but we've created a network throughout the state. Actually, we've got connections in Laramie that are doing the same thing. They built their park in Laramie. Connections in Sun Valley, Idaho, and a few other places. Now Casper, they're activists for an indoor skate park for the winter time, and these groups have contacted us, seeing our Facebook page. We've got almost 500 likes on our Facebook page, and they're so excited. They want to hold even tri-state competitions and get Billings out here. And
Oh, really?
we can't underestimate the economy strength that if you hold a 2-day the one in Jackson was 2 days. So the kids stay the night. They eat 3 meals a day. They shop at Walmart, whatever. Not to plug Walmart, but
We're trying to sell it.
Well, I think you're certainly on the road. Yeah.
Is there any other questions you have for us?
Thank you. Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next agenda item is the DEQ update regarding 422 East Main property. Is the DEQ representative here?
Your Honor, I don't think they're here.
Okay.
We made that
Like-
agenda. I guess I can try to give a little bit of update because I did talk to Vicky. Apparently they have selected a contractor to come and clean up that property. It's just, but I have no idea on time frame of when that's going to occur, but they have selected a contractor, and once that gets cleaned up, then we'll be able to move forward on that property of whatever council wants to do with that, so.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, agenda item number 12, Riverton Volunteer Fire Department presentation.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Warpness. My name is David Woolery. I'm the Assistant Chief of Riverton Volunteer Fire Department. And we're here to give a presentation to you guys and talk to you guys about the funds that you guys give us on a yearly basis. Originally, the funds that was given to the department was for pay for the volunteer fire department's water, and through audits, Berlin, we changed that to a contract consist of $10,000 a year, and came to you guys tonight to tell you guys what we use the money for, what your guys' funds are used for. Basically, being a volunteer fire department, 100% volunteer from the chief all the way down, and it's a very well-run fire department. Use the funds. In the contract, it states that we have to use the funds to benefit the community and benefit for the volunteers that are volunteering their service. We use the money basically within two funds. We have a mutual aid fund, which is a state organized fund, and the members are required to pay $2 a month. It's a mutual aid fund, so once you, as a volunteer fireman, pass away, or widow or your beneficiary would receive a check for $3,000. We pay that membership for each member of the volunteer fire department. We're roughly at 40 members right now at $2 a month. We also use the money for what we call our beneficiary fund, and we use it to, say a volunteer fire department member has to take their child to the hospital outside of town, or recently a volunteer fireman got flown out to Salt Lake. We use that fund to help family and that fireman pay for any travel expenses, any food expenses, or anything they might cover that trip. As most of you know, we also, as the Riverton Fire Department, host Midwinter Fire School. Brings in over 500 firefighters. Riverton, January. Use very little of the funds to help pay for food, bring in instructors and different ideas to give back to the economy of Riverton. Basically, that's what those funds, we've been using those funds for. I got with Jasmine and signed the contract recently for this year. The other contract we have with the city is for our pension fund. I'll briefly explain that contract. The volunteer fire department throughout the state of Wyoming has a volunteer pension fund. So a member puts on 15, 20 years on the volunteer fire service, they can retire at 59 and collect their pension. Depending at what age they join the fire department, depends on the amount of pension they're going to receive. The city pays half of our pension, and the fire district pays the other half of our pension. Totals $12.50 a month. Based on your age, adds up. Basically, being a volunteer department that saves the city, not having to pay for a paid department that would cost our city and our fire district. If he has any questions.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Woolery? I'd just like to comment that I think you guys are just doing an outstanding time. I don't think the city could afford to provide the service that you're providing on a volunteer basis, and on behalf of the city, I just want to thank you for those efforts. This $10,000 that we're paying to you is just a drop in the bucket of the good that you're providing for our community, and I just have always felt that way. I don't. We're getting a lot of bang for our buck in that area. I'll tell you what. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your coming this evening and sharing with us those thoughts.
Appreciate your guys' time, and if you guys ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to call the fire chief, Mike Hutchison, or myself. Dispatch has our phone numbers.
Okay. You mentioned that you have 40 members. Is your membership increasing, declining, holding?
Throughout the years, our membership is that is a nationwide problem. We're working on recruitment and retention. Fire district recently, part of our recruitment and retention program was to pay for life flight insurance for the members and their family. That's a new thing that we're offering for any new members to come to the department. Being a volunteer department, hopefully it never goes paid, but keep the numbers growing and going. There's other benefits. We very family active. Corpus came to our picnics and different activities that we have. We have Christmas parties and things to build morale and try to make it a family organization. Recently, one of the council members came to our open house during Fire Prevention Week, where we provided fire prevention materials on a volunteer basis the week of Fire Prevention Week, and we covered 3,000 to 4,000 kids. We also started in the last couple years going to housing about the community, talking about fire drills, getting interactive with on a volunteer basis. At our open house, probably had anywhere from 500 to 750 people. We had life flight, had the highway patrol, we had car seat checks, injury prevention. We are getting out there and we're trying to be active.
Okay. Well, if you see any way that the city can be involved and help you in your efforts, why let us know, because we're very supportive of what you're doing.
Thank you.
You bet.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you for coming this evening. Okay. Council committee reports and council member roundtable. Councilman Smith, would you lead off, please?
Yeah, yesterday we did have our quarterly Senior Center Endowment Board meeting. Just reviewed the financials for the quarter. Not much to report on from that. So.
Okay. Councilman Fabian.
Yes. The animal shelter actually moved their meeting to tomorrow night, so I will have an update on that then. I saw on county10.com the listing for the Parks Master Plan Committee that we discussed, and it seems like that's kind of taking the place of the Revitalize Riverton Committee at this time, so I don't really have much to report where that's concerned at this time either. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Guard.
Your Honor, Jim does a wonderful job with the Chamber of Commerce. He covers that really good. Got the emails out today for the helicopter pad dedication of the hospital. The brochures and magazine ads, he does a real good job with that. And even getting a little bit better attendance at his board meetings. And so it's looking good. Yeah, so he does a wonderful job for the city, and I think it's a very useful service. It's well done, and people use it. We see that by the number of packets that go out. I'd also like to commend the fire department for the work that they do and the efforts that they make to get out and serve the community, and the skateboarders. It's nice to see you young men here in support of raising funds for something that you'd like to do. I think that's a real important factor to this park, and I think the entire council is in support of what you're doing, and I would commend you to keep up the good work. And there's a lot of money to raise, but that's the experience of life, and so if we can help you, we'd certainly be glad to put our names on. At least I would be glad to put my names on whatever applications. I've got all the money you can get with my signature already, so, but past that, we'll be more than glad to help you. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, in a off-camera, very low-key ceremony last week, I presented Stephen with a check for $20,000 from the District 25 Rec Board that was in support of the paving the Riverwalk. So I want to thank the board for their support. It was at that same meeting that I alluded to earlier that the members of the board are looking forward to the skateboarders presentation, and there's going to be some money there for them as well. So want to thank them for their support and look forward to that getting completed, and tell you guys to keep up the good work. It wasn't too long ago we were building a brand new park in JC Park, and playground equipment and all, and it happened. They just kept after it, and that's what you guys are doing. So I have no doubts that that'll get done, and it'll be an improvement to the city. So also want to thank the fire department for everything they do for us. People would probably fall over if they knew that that's the donation we made to the fire department. Pretty cheap, but certainly they love the community that they're in. That's why they do what they do. So
I agree.
thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Baker.
Apologize. I've been out of town so much this last 3 weeks that I have missed every important meeting that I was supposed to be at. But I see from pictures in the paper that you stood in, and and we're front and center, and so the city was well represented. And
Thank you.
so I thank you for showing up at the Center for Hope dedication. And
Speaking of which, we received a certificate of appreciation from the Center for Hope. So
that's great. Those
I've been
I
holding
just
off on the opportune moment to make this presentation to the city, and so we'll have to find an auspicious place to put it. But it's very nice.
That's great. I am so optimistic about the work that they're doing and
I agree.
the adjustments in that program, and I just think it's going to be a great help to the city of Riverton.
Okay, city administrators' comments, please.
Yes, Your Honor. We do have auditors in town, in City Hall, so if any of the council would like to come by and talk to them or have any concerns, feel free to call us up. We'll make an appointment with you, for you. I would like to thank the Riverton High School for all their efforts in going out and doing a service project for the community. They did a great job in picking up limbs from that first storm. I think they brought in close to 150 to 200 loads to our, in a very short period of time, because I think they were out there between like 9 and 11:45, and so, but when you have that many kids and had quite a bit of equipment out, that really shows our community service. We will be rolling out our tag system for extra sanitation and yard waste. That should start on November 1st. You can purchase the tags at the Public Works office at 714 West Monroe. You don't even have to bring money for it. We'll just put it on your utility bill, so you don't have to, come up with $1.50. The extra tags will be for the extra yard waste. It's just $1.50. And then the other tags are $3, and the most you'd pay is for 3 tags, so it'd be $9 for some of the larger items, which I think that's a great buy. We're just trying to recuperate something for those, even though it probably doesn't recuperate everything, but it's a great way to clean up our town and get things out of the alleys. And reminder of our treasure swap and fall cleanup day coming up on this Saturday. It'll be on Friday and Saturday. The treasure swap will be on the 18th at City Hall, and we'll have a little area, and you can come take all your junk that you're getting ready to throw away and put it in the pile, and then people can rummage through it.
Insulting.
Well,
You're a heck of a salesman.
and people can, rummage through it, and they can take whatever they want. This is not like a swap meet where it's going to be people making money on it. Everything's going to be free. And then the very next day, we'll have the cleanup day, and that will be at 3 different locations at City Hall, the City Shop on Monroe, and the VFW on Main Street from 8 to noon. So I encourage anybody to come out, and any of the council that want to go to those areas they feel that are in their wards. We will have someone there manning the booth from the city, but I'm sure we're going to need extra hands. We did get an ad out for the Parks and Trail Master Plan. You should be seeing that on the internet, Facebook, newspaper, radio. So we're encouraging people to apply for that. And if you have specific people that you can think of that would be good for that committee, feel free to extend that invitation to them. The more the merrier, so we can at least go through and have some choice to have a good committee. The final thing is the 1% committee met yesterday, and they would like to authorize staff for $20,000 on 1% money to be used to hire 2 to 3 temporary workers, and then to purchase materials for a crack sealer. And so all these temporary workers would be doing would be just that. I mean, they wouldn't be used for any other purpose in the city because it is 1% funds, but they felt like this would be a good use of money. It'd cost a lot less than trying to go out and advertise and hire an engineer to figure out all those areas that would have to be sealed. And the best time to do that is in the wintertime when the cracks are the largest. And obviously they wouldn't be able to work every day because when we have snow, we wouldn't be able to do anything. But the idea is to use up about 20,000 and get out there and clean up some of these roads and get them sealed up so more deterioration doesn't happen. And so they would like some authorization for that. They realized that it wasn't on the agenda, but they didn't want to wait till another meeting because they wanted to get started on that as soon as possible. So if you feel like inclined to act on that, that would be great.
Okay.
Need a motion.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to fund the Forest Committee's suggestion we are, in clarification of your statement, we already own the machinery.
Right.
We're just going to buy materials to run through the machinery and temporary labor for the Forest Committee to seal cracks.
This would be 1% money.
1% money, correct.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
Good idea.
Let's go do it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. I agree. I think it's a good idea. And it'll provide additional protection for our roads that we need to keep them from coming apart for another winter. So I think that's a great idea.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I had one question.
Sure.
Did Courtney see the check after Steve got it from?
Yeah, she was giving me a hard time.
Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. I appreciate the skate park folks coming this evening. I thought it was a very good presentation, and I think you're on the right track. It looks like a beautiful design, and it's an exciting concept. I really like the open bowl concept. I think that from a safety standpoint is, because we've got some little kids out there that just don't quite have the skills. And when I was over in Landry, you could see them standing on the edge of that bowl and looking down, and it's pretty darn scary. And no outlet on it, and you get stuck down the bottom of it. Why? So I really do like this concept. We covered for you, Lars, down at the dedication of the Hope Center. Knew you were out of town and you would be there, and you didn't have to stand in the rain with the rest of us. So it was, but it was very well done, and it was pretty well attended, and everything. We had the dedication of the new helipad up at the hospital. I think Councilman Guard made reference to that, and they brought a helicopter in, and we're giving flights to anyone that wanted to go up in it. And they asked if I was interested, and I said no, I've had all the helicopters I'm interested in. So I passed on that one, but as soon as they made the offer, why, Diane Mahoney raised her hand, and she was first in line, so she was really excited about that. So Diane is still out there moving and shaking. So anyway, I'd just like to comment for just a second on the tag system that you were referring to. This sounds like something that the city is just trying to nickel dime the community, you know, another $1.50 here and whatnot, but with the tipping fees that we have to pay to the solid waste district to pick up large objects and whatnot, it's really gets fairly expensive for us to pick those things up. And this is just an effort on our part to, if you've got a mattress or a sofa or something that needs to be picked up, you know, to pay a couple $3 to have somebody come and pick it up for you is not a bad deal. And then to have the city pay for the 4 cents a pound to put it in the garbage on top of it, it's a heck of a steal. And yet we're just trying to be as responsible as we can to get just a little bit of money back to help cover those costs. And it nowhere covers the total costs, but it does help, and it makes us feel a little better as well. So it was a great idea that Ms. Wilhelm brought up, and I hope it's very successful. So it's my understanding also this evening that Mr. Urbikite is back in town, and I have an idea that Bill is probably watching at home, and we want to wish him the very best. He's been on a tough road for the last few months, and we just wish him the very best. So I encourage all of his friends and everyone to kind of give him a little bit of space until he can get settled back into his home and find out, you know, what his needs are and everything, because it's going to be a difficult time for him to get back in the saddle. So we just wish him the very best. So I think with that, we don't have any litigation this evening, and had a good meeting. So the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.